Welcome back. Joining me now in the studio is journalist and commentator Tracey Barnett. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Mike.
Well, the big issue this week that everyone's been looking at is US spying, not just on potential terrorists, but world leaders. What's going on?
Well, you know, espionage has existed forever. But let's face it, the war on terror has been a boon for modern day spying. And for some reason, we have been fed to believe this idea that if someone needs to personally invade our privacy, that is equivalent to our safety. And it's a strange, strange equivalency. You know, this week we've seen Angela Merkel come out and say what I thought was a beautiful understatement of the week, if not the year, which is that, quote, not everything that is technically doable should be done. It says it all.
And in response, I thought the White House looked pretty lame, didn't they, with their, we are not and we will not.
Right.
But
what they didn't interject was we haven't, which has actually happened. I mean, this probably came out from a memo that was leaked by Snowden in 2006 under the Bush administration, where Rice and Rumsfeld basically asked top aides to basically share their Rolodex, was what the memo said. And from that point on, it seemed like it was fair game for world leaders. And now we have seen 35 world leaders have been spied upon. And when a single person is spied upon, that's another story. Their noise kind of dissipates. When it's 35 world leaders, there's going to be ramifications.
And in the United States itself, where freedom and privacy are held in the highest regard, you'd have to imagine the reaction is going to be pretty
strong.
Big. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's really interesting because when Snowden first leaked his papers, what we saw was he was being called a traitor. He was basically, many conservatives were ready to guillotine him. But even the Washington Post, a columnist there who initially said that Snowden was a cross-dressing Little Red Riding Hood, has actually come out this week with a column saying, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. This guy doesn't have the menace and malice and intent that I've seen. In fact, this is an important conversation we need to be having, and it is.
Well, I want you to take a look at this campaign that's just been launched by the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
NSA snooping includes the interception and collection of call detail records and internet traffic,
including audio, video, photographs, documents, chat logs, and emails.
Every American is at risk for getting caught up in the NSA dragnet,
including average citizens not suspected of a crime.
We have also learned of the large-scale collaboration with telecom giants, internet companies, and service providers.
Some concerned email providers have chosen to shut their doors rather than cave to government subpoenas to hand over their users' data.
We've been misled. Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
We've seen this story before.
We've had too much secrecy in this country. It has corrupted the government.
And we decided it was wrong.
It was wrong then, and it's wrong now.
This is a fearful situation. The American people, one of the basic rights is the right to privacy.
Unrestrained, illegal, secret intimidation and harassment of the essential ability of Americans to participate freely in American political life shall never happen again.
A fairly high-powered but also emotional campaign, isn't it?
And I hope that it rings some bells for people not only in the U.S., but in fact in New Zealand. It's a discussion we need to be having in depth and much louder than we have given it primacy before.
Very interesting the way that they've gone back to the Nixon era and drawn that parallel.
Indeed. Well, you know, it's interesting what's happening next, which is that Glenn Greenwald, who was the journalist who broke the Edward Snowden story for The Guardian, has now just left The Guardian, and he is partnering with Pierre Omidyar, who's the eBay billionaire, to create his own website to showcase more of these revelations. So stay tuned, there'll be more coming. I mean, you know, this week we also saw the German defense minister say, look, you know, we can't simply go on as with business as usual. There's going to be ramifications here, and there sure will be. The EU already has said that they're no longer going to allow U.S. tech companies to take data from EU citizens without getting permission first. The European Parliament has just struck down a deal with sharing banking information across the Atlantic because they found out the NSA had been spying on the SWIFT system. So I think hopefully, we will have turned a corner in this conversation when you find that it's not just singular people who are being spied on, but in fact world leaders who saw it in their own negotiating power being diminished.
Yes, I think we're going to hear a lot more about this, aren't we, over the next few weeks. Tracey Barnett, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Mike.